Regular viewers of this channel will know that for nearly 4 years I've been screaming that Russiagate is absolute bullshit. Russiagate, the theory that Russian bots were the things that led to Donald Trump's election, it's all rubbish. Been saying it for 4 years. Finally, people are catching on. Another nail in Russiagate coffin, says Malinka. US is dropping the much hyped indictment for election meddling against a company supposedly behind the so-called Russian troll farm. Here it is. That's the indictment, and they're dropping it. Context: the shell companies Concord Management and Concord Consulting were charged by Special Counsel Robert Mueller in 2018, along with 13 Russian individuals and the troll farm itself, known as the Internet Research Agency. The scheme outlined in the 2018 indictment and again in the Mueller report sought to sow political discord ahead of the 2016 election. They have dropped it. They have dropped the case. It is Dunsky. Next from it. Upon careful consideration of all the circumstances, and particularly in light of recent events and a change in the balance of the government's proof due to a classification determination, it says, as well as other facts described in more detail in a classified addendum to this motion. So the reason it's secret, the government has concluded that further proceedings as to Concord, a Russian company with no presence in the United States and no exposure to meaningful punishment in the event of a conviction, promotes neither the interests of justice nor this nation's security. The government has therefore decided the calculation of whether a substantial federal interest is served by this prosecution has changed since the indictment was returned, and the better course is to cease litigation of it. We said at the time it's a waste of time indicting the Internet Research Agency. It's a waste of time indicting these people over in Russia. They're never going to see the inside of a courtroom. And these indictments were obviously something that was going to bolster this Russiagate narrative up that we know is rubbish. And now we're seeing it all fall apart. And I'm going to put my neck on the line and say we're going to see it fall apart more and more over the months. I've documented how people are working behind the scenes. You know, intelligence officials, people like Bill Binney, etc., are working behind the scenes to actually bring the truth out about this Russiagate. And I'm hoping that we're going to hear it. It's not going to be swept under the rug. We'll see. The jury's out on as to whether that will happen. One thing's for certain, this Russiagate case is falling apart and has been falling apart for several years. Ever since they actually presented it, to be quite honest, it's been absolute nonsense. I knew it was bullshit from the start. And I'm just a guy in a council flat in the Midlands in the UK. If I know it's if it's bullshit from the start, then I guarantee you they do. And I guarantee you the media do as well. Which tells you the fact that they've been pushing it, they've been propagandizing you because they know it's BS. Journalists have either willfully been willfully ignorant on the Russiagate saga, or completely wrong because they're sycophantic suck-ups to the establishment and they don't question anything the establishment and the government says to them. And I'm really hoping that they will see consequences in the coming months and maybe year or two. And they lose their jobs and their livelihoods, etc., because, you know, they led us into a war that killed 1 million people, more than 1 million people in Iraq, and they faced no consequences whatsoever for it. And it's not just that war, it's what came out of it as well. You know, the Patriot Act, allowing America to go around and cause all these bloody wars around the world, these regime change wars with obviously the UK and their puppy dog. Yes, America, how can we help? It's pathetic what we've become in the United Kingdom. Pathetic. Just running around, holding on to the United States coattails while they go off and try regime change wars all around the world based on lies. Now, foreign secretaries out there saying, oh, we're going to follow the United States. It really is pathetic what we have become to. What has happened to us, the United Kingdom? What has happened to Great Britain? Why do we have to follow a fucking fascist right-wing government into wars around the world? And I'm not just saying that was Trump, by the way, because there's elements of fascism with Obama. Obama took 2 wars and made them 7, and we followed them into them all. Even though our government said, no, we don't want to. Now we went into Libya anyway. I hope there will be consequences for the people who pushed Russiagate. And I'm hoping that you will help me do it and help me remind all of those journalists who are going to be proved wrong in the next 6 months, if there is any justice, just how wrong they were. And just how their willful ignorance and how them being sycophantic suck-ups to the establishment has actually put us into a position that is going to cost lives. Put us into a position where there's that much anti-Russian sentiment now in the people. You don't know. They're so misinformed. You've failed in your duties to the fourth estate, media. And I, for one, am looking forward to the day where your entire construct crumbles to dust. You sicken me. It was bullshit from the very start. Russiagate was a guy who's got the equivalent of 3 O-levels. He was scraping by, paying bills month to month, living month to month off people's generous donations. Even he could get it right when all you professionals got it wrong. And I'm hoping that you're going to face the consequences that you bloody should.